Okay, so it's the end of the day. I'll have to check to see like what exact day it is in terms of Nofap. I would say I've been kind of feeling a bit weak, and I've had, I guess, think of what you might call some close calls, so to speak. Nothing too risque. I mean, I haven't gone into any websites or looked up any sort of, video or whatever, but it's not really been my focus for the last like few days. Um, the thing that's really on my mind or annoying me right now is the fact that my laptop apparently, so it was showing me this like message saying that there was like some driver or disk issues, and that I needed to restart my laptop. And I finally just turned the laptop off, turned it back on, and started like doing this whole repair process, and then I guess switching over to install updates. But it's just like it's been stuck in sort of the this is taking longer than expected, but we'll get this done as fast as we can or whatever. And I let that run overnight one of the last few days, and then I tried to go through this whole process, like turning it off and turning on power cycling it to get into like what was it, like repair mode or safe mode or something like that. But that didn't work. And then I tried just going, okay, fine, I'll just let it run through for this whole update thing. But then it was like, it wasn't just running over like last night, but into the day and then up till relatively recently. And I just so was like, screw it, I'm turning it off. I'm gonna let it sit for a day or two, just not being used, because it was getting really hot. We already have a heat wave in this area, and then there's like getting hot in my room, and then on top of that, the laptop heating up. I'll try and figure something out. I'm going through all these like, sort of what do you call them, like customer service Q&A boards online, and people asking similar questions, that sort of deal. But yeah, it's kind of warm. Like, I'm gonna turn on the air. But anyways, it's kind of been getting on my nerves with that whole deal, because I'm hoping that I've had this laptop for, let me see, it's close to 3 years. It's been, I got it back in the fall of 2018, and it's 2021 now, so it's closing in on 3 years. And I've had times where the laptop is frozen up or so, but I've had to power cycle it or just like bring out the task manager or whatever, basic troubleshooting type stuff to get it to work again. And I'm hoping that I didn't like damage the disk or the drive, somewhere along there. And I have all my files on this laptop. I mean, I probably should have done the whole like backing them up on a flash drive or so, but I guess didn't really think about that. I'd already uploaded like most of the files that I'm concerned with, or at least a significant portion of them, onto my GitHub. But yeah, most of the stuff that like I'd be concerned with would be either code that I've created, including for like the liquid handling robot system, or some of the records I have of like when I would like make a payment on a student loan, or I get like a paid in full statement for some of these loans. I would either take a screenshot for when I make the payment, or I just have the PDF of the paid in full statement. And there's stuff like that on there that I have that or accessed, or like I saved some passwords or so, and some text files or so for some of my accounts, and stuff like that saved on the laptop. So it's like those are the things that I'd be like concerned about losing, but right now I just can't access them because this whole deal with the laptop. Eventually I may just take it into some Best Buy and see if they can't do anything about it. I'm not sure what the cost would be, But it's one thing that's really like, annoying me right now or frustrating me right now, because a lot of what I've used to, keep myself busy, but not just keep myself busy, but a lot of the stuff that I've been working on, sort of like you could say, making progress in life. It's all online. It's all on my computer, my laptop, stuff that I've been working on, like those Udemy courses or so. And there, of course, were some of the training exercises that we did during that certification course. I had a couple left to do, but even the ones that I got done, like I would have liked to. I probably should have done this, but I would have liked to get around to uploading them to my GitHub, and then I could go back and like write a README, explaining what this stuff does, that sort of thing. But I just never, I hadn't gotten around to it. But then again, I wasn't expecting this kind of thing to happen with the laptop, But that's sort of the main thing that's causing me like frustration or annoyance right now. Yeah. You see, when I log in, it goes straight into the whole, we got some updates for you, and we need to do this, and usually, unless the update package is so large, that it's supposed to take this long, like most of the time it takes just like, maybe at most a few hours, and you see a little update bar that shows you how far it's gone through. But this one is just continually going through the same cycle, and then I place my hand on top of the keyboard and I can feel the heat from the from the CPU, and you can hear the fan going and all that, and it's really like something that's concerning me, because I obviously I don't want the laptop to like burn out, just like die right there. But anyways, maybe that's what's been kind of putting me in a bit of a vulnerable state. The stuff that was sort of the close call stuff was like looking up a certain celebrity, and knowing how, and by celebrity, I don't mean celebrity from the PMO world. I mean just generic like film actress celebrity. But knowing how a lot of these celebrities are, particularly I'd like to say like the females, a lot of them will want to do like risque photos, or they'll do like something that goes beyond that. It's stuff they'll do it's based off of just like the cold hard facts of like human nature. Like, okay, a scantily clad woman, who's showing enough, or leaving little to the imagination, or whatever, and it could be for like Sports Illustrated or something like that, some mainstream publication. Like, that's a moneymaker. It's an attention getter, and it's a moneymaker. And it's like that saying that sex sells. You could be looking at something that technically speaking wouldn't qualify as pornography, but it's like provocative enough, alluring enough, arousing enough that you get that sort of feedback, that sensation. And it's the kind that if you're dealing with a PMO addiction or a compulsion or a problem with that, it can be the kind of thing that could trigger you to go down that path to a relapse. But I don't know. There are days where like I don't see the PMO thing as big of an issue. Or maybe it's not even the PMO thing that I don't see as big of an issue. It's sort of like the desire. Like, PMO is a problem. I'm not a fan of it. I'm a supporter of it. Maybe what I'm really more getting at is like, I don't like this pathologization of desire, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think I've talked about this in the past, where, and this is me, I think I was talking about, I think I was responding to like some of the folks who were labeling me some less than savory terms, so to speak. They're, kind of being disrespectful on my channel. I had to delete some comments and that sort of a deal, but not calling anybody out in particular. But Um, I think it had to do with sort of that idea of like pathologizing desire. That like, okay, if you as a guy are asking sort of like, how do I make myself more attractive to women, then people will, they'll label you all sorts of things. And if you go the complete opposite of that, well, it's kind of showing that you got issues as well. And if you sort of extrapolate that across society as a whole, Western society, let's say, or even other societies, it's like, you're talking about signs of maybe a society that's not that healthy, And I think that's maybe like what I'm seeing or what I'm sensing when I'll say things like, oh, I don't think this is as much of a problem or big of an issue. It's sort of like, the issue is like getting out from behind a computer screen and going out and pursuing the real thing and taking the risk, taking the chance, learning your, not even just learning your approach, your strategies, but like developing yourself so you can actually like be successful at that. And like I said in the past, and this is kind of a bit of a ramble because I didn't really like plan this video out. Like I said, I've been more focused on getting my laptop working again. In large part because I'm working on all these other things. But I don't think a dating coach is gonna solve any of this. I don't know what it will take. I know it's gonna be an issue, forever in a sense, because no matter how much I might want to deny it or try to pretend like I am a flesh and blood human being, and I can't completely detach myself from physical reality and my desires and my needs as a human being, and as a guy who likes girls, like I can't completely deny that stuff exists and have any sort of real fulfillment, But yeah, it's strange, but like, I've heard all these like folks like Aaron Clare talking about how what's important is not stuff, it's other people, and like relationships and having a sort of connection, or having friends, having people in your life, that sort of thing. And I think that's kind of like one of those sorts of things that maybe for me I kind of realized, or maybe I'm sensing it right now, because it's sort of like the other day, given that I sort of put the diet aside for a bit, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I'd already eaten and I wasn't really hungry, and it was sort of one of those moments where I was thinking like, I want to get up and go out and get more food, and I asked myself like, what is it really that like I'm after? It's kind of like when I'm on YouTube or I'm on the internet, and I've kind of searched all the stuff I can search that's let's say non-PMO related, and maybe I start drifting in a PMO relapse direction, or in this case food, like I've got enough food and drink, like what am I really after? And not to get all like weird about it, or creepy or anything like that, but it's almost like seeking after maybe a bit of human connection, memories, experiences, that sort of thing, because it's like a lot of it is almost like wanting a different kind of a past, but not being able to get that, wanting a different like present day experience, because my day-to-day existence, like I really don't interact with people in general, even when I'm working, because I'll be starting up at the old place again. It's like those are the people that I pretty much interact with. If I don't have a job, then I'm not interacting with people. I'm not going out to clubs or events or socializing with people. I just kind of just like work and then home, work and then home. And if I'm taking some class, a lot last year it's been, all online classes. But if I'm taking some class, then it's like, okay, I'm interacting with people, long distance online. I'm not having face-to-face interaction. I'm not having an actual life. There aren't girls that I'm interacting with, or, that sort of a deal. And it's like, you can do that up to a certain extent, but after a point, like, it just kind of becomes like, man, I just want to have actual, like, connection, have actual friends. But also, like, you think about, like, beyond that, it's like, that desire to, like, want a girlfriend, want a wife, want to have, that intimacy with her, and, start a family, build a family, that sort of thing. And it's something that, like, you can kind of drown it out a bit, because at times you just have to. You're not. It's kind of like like wanting to get laid or something like that. It's like, there are times in life where, like, you're gonna want things like that, and you're just not gonna be able to get it because it's just not what's on the menu. Whatever the case may be. Like, your 20s and into your 30s, it may be a time where it's just like lean times, dry times, where you're just having to, like, work and focus on other aspects of life. Like, for me right now, I mean, I have my list of debts, like, on a piece of paper, tacked up, attached to my calendar, actually. And it's like that is so much of my focus right now, because, like, the other things they just haven't been a real possibility. And people can talk about online dating all they want to, but, like, look, in all likelihood, I'm not gonna find that kind of a girl going online dating, And so for right now, so much of it is just focusing on, like, what I can do things about, and just working through this sort of, like, this time and making the most of it, because in the future there may be a time when I can't work on that sort of stuff. Man, this video has been, like, really, like, I don't know, almost like purposeless. I feel like I'm just rambling on and just talking about whatever sort of, it's almost like stream of consciousness type stuff. Whatever I'm feeling at the moment, or whatever I'm concerned about or thinking about. But yeah, it's just something that I thought about the other day. Like, what is it that I'm really after to make myself, like, happy, or feel fulfilled, or feel like, ecstasis, to get out of the state of being, which is maybe, like, what so much of the allure of pornography is. For a moment, you're not like some creepy weird loser, or some guy who's, like, buried under a mountain of debt, having to work odd hours to, like, make ends meet and pay those bills and all that. But you're almost like, it's almost like you're in that feeling of being like this multimillionaire guy, 6 foot plus tall, 6-pack, has all the money, has all the status and the looks in the game, and you can kind of LARP, in a sense, that you're that guy, and you're getting to be with all these different women under all these different, circumstances and that sort of thing. Maybe that's sort of the allure of it. Like a lot of other things, like when people get really up in arms about politics or religion, it's like, for most people, I think that kind of stuff is mostly like a LARP. It's like a live action role play. They get to sort of be the whatever figure it is that they're playing as, and they get to sort of feel like, their lives are about something bigger than themselves, and they're like, they're successful, and they're fighting the good fight, and they're taking the fight to the enemy, whoever the enemy is. And after the LARP is over, they just get to go back to their crummy lives until the next LARP session starts, and then they can jump back into action and feel like they're really doing something, and when they're really not, for the most part. Especially if you think about how the world really works and what really makes the wheels turn and, makes the machine chug along and do what it's doing, It's not what you think it is, or not what you maybe have been led to believe that it is. And, not getting into any conspiracy theories or anything like that, but, that whole idea. And the same thing with PMO, like, what kind of perception it can give you of what actual intimacy is like. I mean, any dude who has had an actual girlfriend, whether they had sex with her or not, you can tell you that it's like completely different than what you think it is, any guy who's been married and has, I guess, what most people might consider a successful marriage, where they're still with their wife and they're still happily married and all that, they'll tell you that it isn't what a lot of those types of content will probably make you think that it is, There's this whole other side to it that you don't get to see when you watch that kind of content. Same thing with politics, same thing with religion. It's like my sort of experience of sort of the true side of a lot of that stuff has really been what's changed my viewpoints on a lot of issues over the last several years. And I think honestly, like, a lot of the red pill stuff and the Nofap experience and all that, it's kind of interesting how it sort of bled into other areas of my life and my, like, viewpoints on this and that, different issues and whatnot, like how it sort of led me to questioning a lot of things. Like going, like, is that really true? Is that really what I should be believing? Is that really what I should be following? Is that really what I should be doing? Whereas in the past, I might have just gone, like, blindly and just sort of followed, whatever I've sort of been conditioned to, believing or going with, But ultimately, though, like, as I've talked about my concern with my laptop and my debts and all that, like, I know where my focus is right now in this sort of phase of life. Assuming I make it to the end of this phase of life where I got no debt and I've, busted my chops and earned my stripes, so to speak, and gotten through to that, that sort of as close to an ideal spot as one can be as an engineer. Maybe then I can really turn and really start, like, focusing on other aspects of life. And one interesting thing that I think to sort of end all this video. That was a really bad way of wording things, but to end this video, one interesting thing I read it was on Reddit. I think it was on the biotech subreddit, or one of the biotech subreddits, but this guy was asking sort of about career advice, and I think he'd actually gone into, like, a similar background as me, like chemical engineering or biochemical engineering or bioengineering, but he was sort of asking about, like, just general career advice, and someone responded and said, it's sort of become like a rite of passage for anyone with, like, a bachelor's of science in chemical engineering to, like, work 2 to 3 years on the floor, meaning just being like a manufacturing associate and sort of getting your feet wet and cutting your teeth on actually what working is like in the biotech industry. So sort of like you do your 2 to 3 years of work. Along the way, you either get all these certifications, or you go and maybe get a master's degree started. Hopefully finish that up by the time you're sort of done doing work as a MA, and then you can make that sort of leap into the next level, like move out of manufacturing to one of the other sort of higher up groups, whether that's quality or it's process development or it's or automation, or whatever area you might want to be going into. But so it's kind of like getting back my old job. I'm just gonna have to slog through it. Interesting thing is that if I get through the same amount of time that I was at this job the last time, if I get through another year and 3 months, I'll have 3 years of work experience total. 3 years of work experience total, and plus my bachelor's, and hopefully in that intervening time I can also get enough of the other certifications, because most of them, like, they're relatively cheap in terms of cost. Time, it might be a little more costly because it's more like you gotta like study a decent amount of time before you take these exams. But I think there's like a handful of them that would be kind of costly. Talked about the liquid handling robot programming certifications. But basically, I guess what I'm saying is I'm kind of on the right track. I need to bounce back from this last semester with that one course, but beyond that, I'm generally speaking on the right track. And thinking out tonight, probably just gonna go and I'm gonna go work out. I've been taking sort of advantage of the fact that my laptop isn't working to force myself to read a bit. But I also need to do some sort of physical exercise. I'm talking with my folks about sort of some health concerns I have, and they're obviously encouraging me to go see a doctor, get like a sort of general checkup, which I haven't gotten in several years. But also, like, I'm also looking at sort of, okay, I also need to work out, because I know one of the things the doctors are going to say is that you need to lose some weight. So anyways, those are kind of like my closing thoughts. Like I said, I'm gonna go work out a bit and read a bit more, and then I'll probably just go to sleep. It's about 9 p.m. over here actually, but it's still pretty light out because it's the summer, I guess. So anyways, just another ramble of mine. I don't get a title this, so I do upload it, but see you folks around. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.